What's up, guys? I'm GolfWRX editor Andrew Tersky. I'm here with senior engineer Pat Ripp. We're talking RTX4 wedges, and we got a lot of stuff laying in front of us, so I'll let you lead us along.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're extremely excited about this product launch. It's been 2 years in the making, and we're excited to let it out into the world.
So I'm kind of holding something a little bit special, I think. Is this one of the first prototypes of the RTX4?
Yeah, that was one of the first fully machined prototypes that we brought out to tour for some testing. You can kind of see some of the design featuring and logoing in it in the early stages, and when you see the new product, you'll kind of see those elements that have kind of made their way into the production parts.
So I kind of see where you were going design-wise. How does the final product differ from this, and why is it effective?
A lot of the changes were subtle. It was kind of dialing in that muscle, because you can kind of see we have this new weighting feature. This one was pretty extreme here, and it's a little bit more subtle in the final parts, but we were able to still get that weight shift where we wanted it to. We also kind of dialed in the final shapes or slight tweaks to blade heights, slight bounce angle changes, camber changes, but this was a pretty close part to what the final product is, but there's a lot of time and details that go into it to make it go from here to how good this looks right now.
So what does it actually do? What's this design do for performance, spin, feel, look?
Yeah, so I would call this design this chamfer, or this kind of angled chamfer on the muscle. It's an evolution of our field balancing technology. So with RTX4, we did a lot to the hosel design. We did our secondary bore, which we moved weight from the hosel. And what we're doing is trying to get weight out of the hosel, moving that sweet spot from heel bias to the center of the face, where better players impact the golf ball. So this one, we did another evolution to that hosel redesign, but the most noticeable thing will be that updated muscle, and then as you can see kind of from that angle, the flange tilts this way as well, so you're kind of getting that weight from the heel more towards the toe, which helps overall center that sweet spot in the middle of the face.
And I just caught a glimpse of this. It was glaring off the lighting. How the milling goes all the way up to the toe here.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how this face milling helps the player?
Yeah, so this wedge, it's our 4th generation Rotex face. And Rotex face is a combination of 3 technologies to help generate spin. The first technology is that face milling. Second technology is the grooves. Final technology is the laser. But yeah, this is our 4th generation of this Rotex face milling. And what it has, it's a super aggressive toe milling, which isn't quite built in for performance, but what it allowed us to do was create our Rotex milling pattern in the center of the face, increase the roughness there, center it within the score lines, and just overall produce more spin. And it looks great. It looks like it's an aggressive looking wedge that's going to spin the ball. So I think it looks cool, and it also helped us in our manufacturing process improve the performance in the center of the face.
Obviously, wedge design and driver design kind of differ, whereas with the driver, you're working with CGs and MOIs, and wedges, it's more artistry involved. How closely are you guys working with the tour, and how has the tour helped you come up with this new shape?
As soon as we launch a new product out on tour, we get out there, get their feedback, and we start kind of
back to work.
Yeah, back to work, trying to come up with new concepts, what they liked, what they didn't like, and we spend a ton of time. For the past few models, it's kind of been the same classic shape, a little bit more offset than a lot of wedges. But we wanted to kind of make this a brand new product, and so we took a lot of their feedback. In the lob wedges, it's a pretty similar shape to what it's been. We've adjusted the blade heights a little bit, but overall the size is pretty similar. But in the gap wedges and pitching wedges, we've really gone extreme there. Looked at a lot of the players' irons in the market, saw what their 9-iron pitching wedges shapes were, took those design features, incorporated into our kind of our classic wedge shape, and blend it together. So you'll have a good-looking transition from your player's iron, pitching wedge, or 9-iron, wherever you want to split your gap up, and then into our wedge set. And it's going to be a nice transition, and they look phenomenal. And that's kind of the first thing our tour players notice when we introduced it to them is they see the design on the back, they see the face milling, and as soon as they put it down, they're just blown away by it. So
now for the regular consumer, for the retail buyers, I know with the RTX4, I think there were 3 different sole grinds, and now I see 4 out here.
Yeah, so that kind of came from a little bit of our mix of what we were able to sell in the market in past models, but a lot of it came from initial tour benchmarking. So we took a analysis of every sole and every model that's played out on our tour staffs across the world and kind of graphed where exactly you saw a lot of variety in soles and models. And you could see it up in the lob wedges. Our tour players were all over the map. So we knew we needed to add some options up there because that's the most versatile. You need to be able to hit the most shots with your lob wedge around the green because you run in so many situations. So everyone has a different playing style, different courses. So we added a 4th bounce option into our lob wedges, and then we still have 3 in the sand and then 1 in the gap. So it's a similar. We offer just as many SKUs as we did in the past. We just kind of shifted it based on kind of how our tour uses and how most golfers use their wedges.
So the wedge that you added is, I think it's 3 degrees of bounce.
Yeah,
it seems very low to me.
It's our XLow. Because this is our kind of, we separated our launches into opposite years. So we have a CBX wedge, which came out last year, and then this is our new first time in a while that we've been able to launch just a player's wedge on its own.
Okay.
So we took a lot of time focusing on what our player needs, and what we've done is we had a high bounce wedge for a while. It didn't really sell too well. It hasn't done great out on tour. Most of our players are playing, kind of from that analysis, mid to low in those lob wedges. So we wanted to offer kind of 2 low bounce options. This is our extreme low, and then 2 mid bounce options. So this will be the lowest bounce wedge that we've made. It kind of has like a thin sea sole, thin kind of almond grind to it. So you still have bounce in that leading edge for the full shots, but as you can see, it's very aggressive material removed from the trailing edge and heel and toe. So it's built for a player that kind of has the confidence to open up that wedge wide open. They like to hit those high, soft, spinning shots, and just those firm, tight lies is kind of what this is built for.
What kind of swing type is it built for, and how does someone know at home if they should try this kind of wedge?
It's built for kind of that player that likes to pick the ball. You're not kind of getting too steep with it. You're not taking huge divots with it. So if you're taking a big divot, I wouldn't recommend this for you. But if you're playing on hard pan, you like to open up the club, and you sometimes have issues with your previous wedge of kind of bouncing into that ball, and you're not quite picking it quite right. So this is kind of built for you. You're going to be able to get under the ball, pick it cleanly, and kind of if you're a sweeper, this is it.
Okay. What kind of head material are these made out of?
These are made out of 8620, so it's a very soft steel that we've been using for a few generations now, and same material that we have out on tour, and it's a lot of the major wedge manufacturers are using this material as well. So it's just a popular, very soft steel. It rusts in the raw model, which we offer, and the tour players like to have that option.
So there's a raw model, chrome satin, and then are there 2 other finishes as well?
We just have we have our 3 finishes. It's our tour satin, our tour raw, and our black satin.
Okay.
This black satin is pretty similar to what we made last year, and it's one of the most durable PVDs in the market. Especially for a wedge, it's critical that you have a durable finish because you're hitting so many bunker shots. You're practicing on sandy ranges that you don't want that black finish to wear off in 2 weeks. So this will hold up to that time, and it'll last much longer than what you've seen in the past. The Tour Raw is oven bake. It gives us that nice kind of copperish gold finish. It really stands out. That one will rust as soon as you start playing it. Any type of moisture that gets on it and you leave it in your bag, you'll start to see it rust, kind of like what the pros wedges look like. And then we have our standard satin chrome wedge, which is popular for the traditionalists, and I think they all look really good, and our designers did an excellent job of kind of doing all the paint fills and getting all the polishes right, the high polish and the bling right, so it's a great looking wedge.
I got to ask about the shaft. I see a little tour issue action going on right here.
Yeah, so as we said before, this is our most tour authentic wedge that we've ever produced. And so we decided to put in some tour authentic components based on what our staff plays and just the overall count out on the PGA Tour. It's Tourish US 400 shaft is stock with it, and then the Golf Pride Tour Velvet grip is the stock grip as well.
Awesome. So before I let you go, I got to ask about this club. I've been looking at it. What is this?
So these were our first prototypes that we brought out to tour maybe 2 years ago. We were messing around with weight. We do a lot of robot testing in-house that you don't need to have a hittable part, just to understand how you manipulate the CG properties and what that does for your launch conditions, and mainly launch conditions for the robot. But we wanted to bring this out, test it with our tour guys, make sure if we had a high toe weight, what that would do to their ball flight, to their feel, to the trajectory. And then so we just were able to manipulate these wedges. I was on the range at Riviera, kind of slowly picking them away, and it was a little stressful trying to fit them in there, but we got a lot of great data out of it, and it kind of set up what our field balancing technology is. So using this test data for their feedback and also the launch conditions, we were able to kind of dial in our CG locations and MOI properties to make the best wedge possible for our tour guys.
Really cool.
Yeah.
How much they cost?
$139.99 is the cost for every finish with this excellent shaft and grip on it. So it's a great deal for the market right now. I think it's $10 cheaper than most wedges, which is a great price point for us to be at, and it's what you're getting is very valuable. So,
Pat, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate
Seeing
you.
you.